Yo, 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 what's good, world? It's your boy HypHy. I got my brother Fresh with me.
What's good?
You get tuned in to Motivation to Hustle Radio. Chill. Episode number 4.
Yes, sir. We here.
Man, me and my boy go back to 308 Aurora. My boy got curls galore. All jokes aside, though, man, one of the most humble, most positive people in my life. Used to throw the most lit parties with the chicks that you're currently trying to wife. Give it up for my dog, Soleroom Reez, man.
Give it up.
He's in the building, man. What's going down, player?
What's good, bro?
See, we was going to wait for this one. We was like, man, we can't just bring the homies on here. We can't bring the bros on here because they're going to be like, that ain't fair. That's they brothers. But we like, man, you killing them right now, man. You doing your thing. And, you know, I just want to, like they said, give you your flowers while you're here. And run the views up, too. You know what I'm saying? So, what's up, man? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man. I've been in a good space, man. For sure. Energy's everything. How y'all feeling?
I'm good, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy you say energy, man. That's what I want to touch on you for. Like, how, man? Like, is it because your mom's white, your dad's black, you got like best of both worlds? Like, your energy always just been like, it's like God was shining that light on you from the beginning.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That energy.
You know, I just always been pretty mellow, you know. You know, I always had that positive energy vibe, especially like was tapping into it at an early age. You know, this is things people don't learn till later in life.
Yeah.
We was in high school going into college and I was into that mode and you know, it's funny, it used to drive my mom crazy, like come off as carefree or like, you know. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't take nothing serious, blah, 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 but it was just like believing in something even before I knew I believed in it. Like everything was finna work out. It had been working out and it's finna keep working.
And that's crazy because that's my mindset now.
Yeah, for real.
Shit's good over here, man. That's my
mindset. It's a faith factor. Like,
for real.
That you just believe so much that you know everything's gonna be okay.
For real. You know, I'm just getting back into that groove really. You know, like I wouldn't lie. Like I knew it threw me off, but I didn't know even like bouncing back from it, like the military, that positive energy shit was out there. You know what I'm saying? The military turned me into like
the military. You want to touch on that just real quick? Just tell you a quick story about that.
Yeah, you know, I decided to go into the Air Force and went to boot camp. You know, that was crazy. Definitely experience of its own, but tech school ended up in operational Air Force. I was living in Wyoming. And, you know, I went into it, I knew what to expect to some degree, strong mindset, but I guess I didn't really expect some of the, like, shady shit, like, you know, the racism, it's a lot of that.
This is America.
You know what I'm saying? And they was just trying to make me robotic, and I'm just too open-minded, just like, I just knew it wasn't the space for me, you know, so did what I had to do, you know. I got out honorably,
Rereading, man.
Nothing dishonorable, but I was at that point where I was ready to, but got out honorably and just, you know, start coming back to my normal life, right? The people in the military would call it a civilian life, and even, you know, a couple of years out, I thought I was back good or like things was positive, but I just remember one day it hit, like, that positive energy Reez is back. Like, I know how to be in that space. And it also made me realize, like, damn, I thought I was good this whole time, but I was bugging. You know,
you could probably understand how, like, an OG veteran, why he is the way
he is. For real. Sure. Like, you know, and they put years in, you know.
Right.
But.
So, let's talk about Showroom. Like, was you always into shoes? Like, even before you went to the Navy,
Definitely.
You know, did you always know you was gonna start a shoe business or something?
You know, it's funny. I didn't really know I would start a shoe business, but as a kid, I look back. You know, I always, when you had to pick a career, write about whatever, like, I knew like I wanted my own business. You know, so I did have that moment. You know, as an adult, looking back, like, damn, I kind of was on track. You know, I didn't know it would be this shoe company, but I did used to say I want a company. You know, and as far as the shoes, they always been there. I just always loved shoes. Growing up, both my sisters worked at Foot Locker. So, you know, I went through that stage where I could fit their size, which I'm sure they hated, but I'm rocking all day heat. Like, I'm rocking my sister's heat, and they realized that, and you know, they started looking out for me too, grabbing me my heat, and it was just over from there. You know?
I can vouch, man. In high school, you had all this shit. You stayed fresh. You won best dress, right?
Yeah, that was
best dress, man.
That was funny.
Give it up for my man. Best dress in high school.
You always had it. You know what I'm saying? You've been doing it, okay?
You know.
So
before we get to the shoe, I want to say the shoes for a little later down.
Yeah.
But let's go back to Reezy and Tavy functions, man.
Yeah, Tavy. That was crazy.
Y'all like set the tone for parties for our generation at the time, and that was right after high school. So that was like my freshman year in college.
Freshman, sophomore year.
Yeah, in my intro, I said he had the chick that you're currently trying to wife was partying with us. That's no cap. Like literally, like
facts.
Apartment full of chicks every weekend, man.
It was wild.
That was a good summer,
crazy time.
Man, great summer, man. I had so much fun, man. So many memories from that.
Ciroc boys, we were Ciroc boys.
Yeah, that was crazy times. Like, and that was just, it's funny how everything connect. You know, I learned so much from the promoting standpoint. But one thing about the promotion days and when we start throwing them parties, like, you know, as corny as it sounded, it was genuine. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about no money. We never charged no money. We had the most cracking parties.
That's exactly what I was gonna say next. We transitioned from the living room to Aqua. You know what I'm saying? So what made you get out that game?
You know, I just had to be real with myself. Like, you know, I realized, of course, how fast the lifestyle is. It's not that, you know, everybody talk about when you're a promoter, you get burnt out or, you know, you can't last. I wasn't worried about that. But I had to ask myself, like, okay, I could get it cracking all the time, but can I really keep up with drinking every weekend, turning up every weekend? Like, you know, is it sustainable, you know? And I just got burnt out with the saturation of the market too. Like, I was one of the few people like throwing events. Like, my main objective, it wasn't about no bag. It was about, I want people leaving feeling like this was the most cracking shit I've ever been to.
For sure.
Then it got to a point where everybody and their mom was promoting, and I just felt like, you know, I'm not gonna be scrapping with everybody. You know, and shout out Keith, you know, shout out my bro Keith. Like, you know, there's so much we did together. You know, me and Fresh was throwing the parties dolo in college and really getting cracking. But me and Keith linked up for a lot of that club stuff, and it was over with it. He's still in the game. You know, people hate him, people love him. He got all sides, but he's still in the game. You know, so
shout out to him, for real. It's crazy how he's still in the game. Like,
for real, man. You know.
I salute him for you know, staying in there this long, like overcoming all the obstacles. So,
you think you're gonna ever throw one again? You think it's over? Think you just,
you know, it's funny in my head.
Thursday.
Nah, in my head, I've always said, you know, of course, it really don't matter the older you get, because you can rock with your people who rock with you for real. But I've always said I'm gonna throw one grand finale when I'm just super set where I want to be in life, and it's gonna be on some big meat shit. Everything free. You ain't paying for no liquor. You ain't paying to get in.
That's a party.
You ain't paying for nothing, and it's gonna be the craziest thing.
I was just chopping it up with Meez the other day, and I got the big bottle of Costa Mego, the $100 one. It took us like 3 days. I don't think we finished that in 3 days. And we were just laughing like, man, we all used to be in the party with one bottle of one bottle per man, and we were finishing these bottles every night. And then getting another one tomorrow. That's just a Friday night party. Saturday we get copping a whole new flavor.
For real. You know, I'm glad, like, I am glad we were exposed and doing all of that so early.
Yeah. Shout out to HypHy TV.
You know what I'm saying? and believe me, HypHy TV. We was ahead of the game with putting the videos out of the parties. Like, people was watching these videos like, I need to be at the next one.
Parties,
And so,
listen, if you don't know, go run through this YouTube channel right here. and check out, like, go to the bottom. It's gonna be some years back, but go check out the old party videos, and you're gonna see exactly what we're talking about.
See some faces.
Yeah. If you're young, you might see your older sister. You might see your mama or something in them things. Like, part of the wild.
Get to that age. You might see your mama.
I ain't get to that age.
They coming up though. Got some plans during this pandemic.
I'll say this, bro. Beginning of the year, I'm seeing everybody how they B-days during the pandemic, and it was kind of like, damn, that sucks.
They was doing drive-bys, like.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, that's tough. I'm like, my shit in October, I'm Gucci. Mm-hmm. I can tell it's gonna be low key. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna probably dip somewhere wherever I can, but the options aren't the greatest right now. But I'm gonna bring it in low key, real play, like something for myself. You know what I'm saying?
They starting to act like they don't give a damn about this pandemic no more.
True.
I was literally just in Houston last week, and like me and the people I'm with from Minnesota were the only people I'm with masks.
Yeah.
Besides people working in establishments,
but see, I ain't gonna speak like I became a native. Like I lived down there for less than a year, but I fell in love with Houston when I lived down there, and like I only came back to open up the storefront when we had it. But Houston's a different breed, different animal, different country. Like not in a bad way. Like shout out all my Houston cats, for real.
I'll be down there low key.
Yeah, you already know.
So even going back to the store, man. Was that a learning experience for you? Like what you learned with the whole store thing?
You know, I always wanted to be more of a like. I never really wanted to go the store route, you know, but when we did go the store route, it was just about momentum. It was a moment in time where we had people rocking with us, but it was time to make that next step to something. And so the store, it was less about opening the store thinking we was finna have way more sales and more about, all right, we could open up a space that people could come see what we about, like who we are. Like we had it rocking in there. We always had the latest music on. We had the Nintendo Switch in there, the shoes. Like it was culture. Like you could come vibe with it. So just wanted like a headquarters. You know what I mean? And you know things. Eventually, you know, we separated ourselves from that situation and just went back to doing shows, just hitting the road nonstop. And like you said, it's definitely a learning experience, but. Definitely not regrettable.
Let's touch on what do they call it? Conventions?
Conventions up in sneaker
talk on them, man. Like, I ain't never been to one. I always said I was going to go. My bad. I was always busy. The money be calling.
It'd be real.
That shit always be looking so crazy. And just watching your Instagram stories, I be seeing some of the dopest shoes. Like, I didn't even know existed.
For real. This shoe game in general, like, it's 2020 and it still blows people's mind. Right. It still be like, wait, what? These cost what? Or this is what? Just, especially people who's not us or from the culture, like, just know it, you know what I'm saying? Like, they overlook it, but then once something comes their way, a video or something, or they see a price of the shoe, and they're kind of like, what's this? You know? When
Frozen Yellows dropped, and I was telling you, I wanted to be like, bro, they finna go for like a stack 1,200. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? Yeah. And I didn't even get them that first round, and they re-dropped them. I got 2 pair. Now them motherfuckers is like 300. I ain't worth like 300 or something. I still got a fresh pair on ice though.
It's crazy. It's really like the stock market, you know? It's really like the stock market. I mean, and now where I'm at in the game, I trust in my knowledge more than ever, so I know when to like buy a shoe, even if it's $1,000. I know like I could grab that, and at the end of the year it's gonna be 2 bands. It's gonna double up.
Right. My problem right now is, and I told myself earlier this year, like I got a closet full of Yeezys, man. Right. But that's when it was easy. That's when all I had to do was wake up early. Right. YeezySupply.com, put my size in, and grab them joints. And I said I wasn't buying no shoes this year just because I was like, man, I got too many shoes. Like, all these shoes, the money I spent on these, I could have bought a house. You know what I'm saying? I could have did something with that. For real. But I was, this past week, I was like, man, I got to give me some 700s. Like, the blue ones just came out.
Yep.
V2s or something like that.
Yep.
So I was like, man, let me just put these in the collection.
Yeah.
And I also tried a couple other shoes just to get for $9.99. It's so hard to get a shoe now.
Yeah, for real.
Like, what's up with the mark? Like, who's getting them?
Yeah.
I had like 5 different people trying, and like none of us got it. So
exactly.
Are you getting like you got bots or something? Like, what's going on, man?
Now, you touched on one of the people who's getting them, like the botters, and I wouldn't flex like that game itself. You really have to dedicate yourself to and learn it. Like I put plenty of money into bots over the years. I've tried to run them myself. I just could never get it to click. So
for the people that don't know, can you explain?
So the bots, a bot is basically like on release date, a site gonna drop something, and some of these bots, the reason it sell out in 5 seconds is because automatic info is getting put into the checkout. Like your shoe getting put into the cart, your name, everything, and you out the door in 5 seconds compared to us, typing in and being, we like grannies compared to these bots,
Man, it's like an automated thing, right?
For real, yeah. So
I think they're doing that on the Supreme site too, because I keep.
Yeah, it's tough.
By the time I put my credit card number, that joint sold, everything in my cart sold.
It's tough, and it's a lot of companies getting better at combating bots, and I'm all about the fair releases. You know what I'm saying? But the game ain't always fair that we in. So I might pay someone who got a bot and hope they hit for me, but half the time they might not hit. So getting the botters out the way, you're like, who's getting them? Next, it is, a slew of resellers, you know what I'm saying? And, there's plenty of people who hate resellers, I don't knock resellers. If you love the culture, I don't knock you. If you just reselling, get your bread and you don't care nothing about shoes, it's culture watcher mode.
I mean, can you really knock a reseller?
Exactly, but plenty of people do, and not saying I think I'm above or whatnot, but like I said, I move with my company. You know what I'm saying? We're building something bigger. At the end of the day, for us, it ain't even all about selling shoes. So it's the resellers getting them too, and then it is people getting them who want them. But the thing is, one of the things I even offer is convenience. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm putting in work too. I might camp out for a shoe. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna be out in line with a couple of the homies too, waiting. It's 6 a.m. The store don't open till 11. You could do that too and get your shoe for retail.
Where you and Copper was at
University.
Winter of the winter, I pulled up on y'all. My boys out there freezing cold. Cover. I still got that picture.
For real. So like you just gotta put in the work, and you could get them how they come out, even online. Like it ain't nothing special for me. I log in on my phone when sneakers is dropping, but I'm consistent. Consistency is always the key.
Yeah. Do you feel like the game is oversaturated with the resellers and?
Yeah, no, like it's getting bigger.
Okay.
Bigger, like compared to what the game used to be to now. Yeah, it's like everybody is reselling.
It's a hustle now.
Yeah, everybody trying to get their dollar, but what everybody don't look at, it's still knowledge that go into this. Plenty of these shoes come out and you lose money. They don't sell for extra. You might not even be able to get retail. So it's like these naive young cats coming in trying to sell everything. Like I know what the heat is. I know what I want. I know what my clientele want. Like I'm gonna go after that fire. But I had my day when I first got in the game. It was everything. Every release I was grabbing. Every release. So. It's still knowledge that go into it, you know what I mean? Definitely.
So the showroom is like solely you at this point? Like partners?
Yeah. So at this point, it's fully me. I got, as far as like employed, there's people that help out, do different things, different parts for me, help with raffles, help with just ideas, everything. Shout out my boys, Siren and Tenzin, my boys.
Shout out them boys, man.
Siren,
Siren be getting
Siren,
he got his own interview,
research, for real.
He be on it, man.
And
young too.
And this how crazy the game is, or the game is a real hustle. I'm on the way out here. Siren called me like, hey, where you at? Get to the mall right now. I'm like, man, I gotta handle something. You know what I'm saying? But that's how this shoe stuff be, and like, it's also because of that, it's hard to get the help you need sometimes, because it's like, shit, I just found out, and now you telling me to get to the mall in 10 minutes. It's hard to call someone and expect them to be able to be like, bet I could get out there right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what the game is. You just gotta adapt and, you know, go with it. But
stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready.
You know, hopefully Sarah came up tonight. You know, to y'all do y'all thing.
You sell out quick. So,
you know, for real.
When, so like what made you, so let's go back, like what made you like come up with this idea? Like what sparked your idea to come up with the showroom? Like,
yeah, that's real, cause like I said, I always loved shoes, you know, always. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's funny, you brought up promotion, and I was actually in this stage where I was working on this promotion company, and they probably got something like that by now, but you know, like open table where you could reserve like for your dinner table and stuff.
Yeah, I just found out.
We've all went out of state somewhere new and been like, all right, what's there to do at night? And sometimes it's not easy to find or stumble across. Some states, you know, you're gonna find what's lit.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I wanted to create this database, like this site that like basically you could type in the state you in, and like all the hip hop clubs and bars would come up, all the rock bars, like just a database of like, you know, where we at tonight? We in, be wherever we in Idaho.
The Yelp of the nightlife.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You know, and I felt like it was a great idea, $1 million idea, and but going back to something I said earlier, I'm like, this is gonna have to, if I decide to run this company, I'm gonna have to travel nonstop every day to all these different states. Like, I'm gonna have to drink, turn up, not necessarily have to drink, but I'm gonna have to be every day in the nightlife to create a database this big, and build my network. And I was feeling like, no, I can't keep up with that, you know. But I remember one day, you know, thinking, or like, you know, I remember the thought of the shoes popped up, and I remember thinking of the Soleroom all in like probably like 10 minutes, but I just remember thinking, I was sitting in the car kind of zoned out, and I remember everything about the Soleroom came to me, but I remember feeling like, okay, you working on this promotion company. And this one I figured I wanted like my biggest truths for like this company shit. It's like, I feel like we all got $1 million ideas, but the problem was I realized, I'm like, okay, I got the Soleroom now, but damn, you just had your last great idea, now you just move into the Soleroom. I'm like, you gotta pick $1 million idea. We all got, everybody got $1 million ideas every day, but you gotta pick it. So I remember after I thought of the Soleroom, just thinking like, this is it. No matter what, the ups, downs, whatever, like this is it. Even if I think of $1 billion idea, I gotta focus on this first. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you gonna get.
And I really became invested. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up, man. Like I remember you going, like I remember the days you was like putting all this together, like the long nights. For sure. Like how you used to just.
I was working.
Yeah, like you would hang out with the guys. You wouldn't do nothing but focus on this. And like when you came to me with it, I was just like shocked. Like, man, like. You put the data you went to go find, all of it, like it was crazy. Like I'm like, this is a genius idea, man. Like I was excited for you, bro.
I appreciate that, and you know, I definitely feel like somebody reached out, you know, and somebody that was there around day one, you know, and he was just like, man, I remember you talking about all this, you know what I'm saying, and you doing it, you know, I remember you talking about everything you literally doing, and you know, it just felt good, you know what I'm saying? Like, you already feel good and know what you're doing, but, you know, action's gonna talk. And, you know, the people who was there at the jump really know I painted this out, so. For sure.
Man, so.
What you reading these days, man?
You
always been, I think you damn near one of my only homies besides myself that actually reads and shit, so.
And, you know, even speaking, you know, ironically, I got the shirt on, but it's like, you know, shout out Nip. That's why I love Nip so much, because, you know, I just feel like, damn, you know, he talking about books to his homies too. Like, shit, I'm gonna do this thing. I love books, so I'm reading. So, you know, I didn't read books he suggested. I didn't, you know, got my own list. But at the moment, I'm reading this book called The Surrender Experiment. And it's actually one of my favorite books ever. I read it before. And I'm not big on like rereading. But some told me like, this your favorite book. You know, you gotta kind of re-tap in. And I am rereading it and being reminded of a lot of things, but also like seeing different angles because of my growth to even apply new stuff. So it's powerful right now, but it's called The Surrender Experiment. I believe Michael Singer. Everybody should check that out.
I like rereading. I actually, when I'm reading the book, I don't even like go on until I fully understand this chapter.
Right.
Even after I finish, I'll go back and reread a few chapters just to wake my game up a little bit. So
I'm a big fan of that. Like, that's the difference between, you know, educating yourself and versus like that school climate. Like, I love learning, but it's like, you know, you're in college or you're in school, you gotta keep up with the class to keep up with the test to like, you know, I wanna read something like you just said, like, damn, that's deep, kind of digest it a bit, you know what I'm saying? And then move at my pace, and that's how you really learn it. That's powerful, for real.
That's dope, man. Yeah, you didn't put me on a couple different books, like The Contagious. Yep, that book, that was such a dope book.
Speaking of that, that's one of Nip's. That was one of Nip's favorite books, but that's powerful, bro.
So yeah, you got me into reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I remember your sister put us on that. Yeah, man, so yeah, you've been inspiring me.
You know, I gotta say that story. That's funny, like, you know, I said I never mind reading, but I was never like, the way I read now over the years, I was never like that early college, you know, into high school. And my sister bought me Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I remember looking at it one day after Christmas. It was a Christmas gift. And I'm like, I gotta read it. My sister bought it for me. Like, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, I can't just throw it, you know, somewhere. And it was kind of like a resistant attitude, but it was like, I gotta do this for my sister. I gotta read it, you know what I'm saying? So I did start reading it, and before you know it, it wasn't, it was like, I'll read a couple pages a day. It was like, damn, well, I never knew this shit. And I'm like, damn, that's real. We talking about assets, liabilities. I was in the stock market, next thing you know, it like, book changed my life, and I started reading heavy ever since.
You still much around the stock market?
Yeah, I'm in it heavy right now, for real. I'm in it heavy, you know, definitely don't come off or try to portray myself as, you know, some financial advisor or whatever. You know, I do this, you know, just on my opinions, but I'm in it heavy, you know. I finally got some Apple and Tesla stock, which is something I've been plotting on for a minute, especially because of
Apple and Tesla's booming.
You know, exactly. So I'm in it heavy, though. I said, you know, I encourage people to look into it.
I feel like I'll be doing so much in the real world that I don't have time to be checking.
Right.
You know, I don't have time to keep up with a lot of stuff that goes on phones now.
Right. And different people got different styles. Yeah. Like me, I am more long term. So it's like some people are like short term trading or trying to look like, I know the companies I'm eyeing. You know, I watch them, and then I put that bread into them, and I don't care what it's doing. You know, I peak. You know what I'm saying, but I'm doing that for years later, you know what I'm saying? So just letting it add up, but and it's definitely, you know, the sacrifices is the hardest part of the game, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of,
use that money, but
you know, I definitely, there's a lot of other things, you know, you always want to do with your bread, but invest in yourself for real, in multiple angles.
So, on your website, just to talk about your mission statement a little bit, it says the Showroom LLC is more than just sneakers. While we provide top-tier consignment services, we are motivated by a deeper mission to serve and address the global issue of the transmission of diseases due to no footwear in high-poverty areas. So, about that, can you talk a little bit about, like, what do you mean about it's more than just about sneakers?
Yeah, for sure. I knew getting into this game, and like, you know, it was a business class in college that changed my life. Professor Folk, I'm still hoping to do some big things with him later in life, but There was a crazy teacher, good dude, and he was stressing the importance of like, making a company, but also, what you gonna get back? What's the world gonna benefit from, or like what's it gonna be about?
Mr. Scrooge, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Make something of it.
Exactly. And he was living the talk. He got an orphanage in Romania, so I'ma listen. Every real boss, whatever you wanna call yourself, everybody got their definition of what a boss is. A boss is someone who knows when to listen. You know what I'm saying? And so, believe me, he's one person like that. And, he was telling us earlier about this 3D printing technology. And I never knew how it could apply to me. And it wasn't connecting yet, but he would tell us, like, at least learn about it. You never know. You might figure out a way you could use it.
Are you talking about like the actual 3D?
Yeah, like these 3D printers, and like, he was showing us, they were printing, you could look it up on YouTube, China going crazy. They printing houses, apartment buildings, wedding dresses, like anything from structures to material to food. And of course, this ain't no magical printer that could do it all. Whatever you're gonna use it for, that's what it gotta be built for. So you can't just switch like making a house, you know what I'm saying, maybe this, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted, it just clicked to me. I'm like, it'd be dope to make one with shoes, or like that'd be something for me. And going back to Professor Folk, one of the companies he rocked with probably was Tom's, right? Where you buy the shoe and they give away a shoe. Okay. And that was a dope concept to me. So when I finally put it together, because the cost of 3D printing, once you get everything rolling, is fairly cheap. So I'm like, it'd be dope to be able to create something where I could give away shoes or give back to people. And so, even when we look at our poverty over here, you may see someone less fortunate than you, but they got some shoes on. You know what I'm saying? They got some. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about there's really places in the world where like they're free. You know what I'm saying? Like they still just walking and it's normal to them. No socks, nothing. And so even if I could just touch pieces of them people or like really, be able to get to that point, that'd be where we headed. Or that's what ultimately we want. For sure. Ironically, you remember my cousin from back in the day, shout out to my cousin Terrell. He's like, when you think, I don't know if you remember Terrell, but this one of my cousins who like been in school for like, I joke, I don't know, it feel like 10 years. Like he done been in, got his bachelor's, got his master's, he's like a rocket scientist at this point, like genius. And ironically, it's just funny how the world works, how the universe plays out. Over the past, a few years ago, he started a 3D printing company. So it's like, damn, one of my tightest cousins got a 3D printing company, and I always wanted to do that. And so I let time play its course, but, we finally getting more on a collaborative, mindset and like working on some things where we come together, and that's perfect, you know what I mean? For sure. For sure. That's like, what, man? You know what I'm saying?
So you tend to give 5% of each of your sales to the philanthropy project?
Yeah, really, we've been saving up for so now that my cousin became part of the picture, we're able to take a different approach. Okay. We've been saving up or putting bread aside for this printer. Which, these printers get pretty expensive, especially as you have to customize them. You got to buy the material you need, everything, and so we've been saving up, and we was in position to kind of start our own solo journey on that route. But then, like I said, the universe played its hand, and all of a sudden, my cousin's doing 3D printing, going crazy like that. You know what you know. I know what I know. Let's do what we do. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Potentially save you a lot of money.
For real. So we definitely moving that way too. That is real. Like, no matter what you're doing, everybody want that bread, for real. And, keep adding them digits to your numbers. But, it's the moments. There's so many moments deeper than that bread. They're like, okay, everybody want that bread. If you got $1 billion right now, what you going to do with it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
some cars.
I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to do all that. I'm going to buy cars, James. I'm going to do all that too. But, you know what I'm saying? It's like, how you really gonna like
keep it
change some people, or like, you know what I'm saying, or like, you know, like shout out someone like, I'm not, you know, gonna act like he's like one of my main inspirations or not, but we know his story. But like, shout out someone like Akon. He built the whole city. You know what I'm saying? He built the whole city. You know what I'm saying? That's a boss stuff for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, back.
Sure. Man, let's tap into the shoes, man. We here with Showroom Reez, man. Let's tap into the kicks, man. I want to know what the hottest shoe. I want to know your favorite shoe. I want to know what your most bought shoe is, man. Talk that shoe shit, man. Talk that shoe, man.
For sure. What you say? The hottest shoe.
Hottest shoe you did.
The hottest shoe of the year.
In your opinion?
In my opinion, and based on like what I see or like everybody, the DR ones for sure. I mean, these are shoes that I feel like nobody even knows the real price for. Like the market, people ain't really selling them like that. The cheapest you gonna find a pair is 10,000. 10,000.
And these are the
how many cars I can buy?
You know what I'm saying?
Cars I can buy for 10,000?
That's why I'm like, it's crazy. And believe it or not, you know, that price gonna stay like that, and it's probably gonna only go up, you know. But that'll probably be the hottest shoe.
You got a pair?
Nah.
And these are the retro Jordan 1s.
I wish. I could humbly say I wish. I don't even feel bad about saying I wish. That was a hard shoe to
I seen a couple people post, but I don't know if it's theirs, man. They be flexing on IG.
Yeah, you know.
I ain't see nobody with them on their feet, though.
And the retail.
So a shoe like that, like, what do you even wear them joints? Like,
yeah.
Is that a shoe that's just going to be sold and sold and sold?
You know, so check this out. So
Actually,
a lot of people, just going back to everybody, always had their opinions. You know, a lot of people, like, I agree with wear your shoes, you know what I'm saying? But I agree too, like, if there's stuff you want just for yourself or like to put up and not rock, put it up too, you know what I'm saying? But there's some people who just, it's just life, you know? There's so many people stuck in their own ways and just keep putting that out on the world, like, hey, whether you rocking, whether you stocking, whatever, you know what I mean?
Man, I got a couple pairs. Got a couple pair of 350s, probably like 4 pairs on ice, never been touched. But
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna wear them one day. I'm just waiting for the right moment. Like,
you know, my boy hit me the other day and was like, bro, I probably got over 75 pair of Jordan 1s from you that I damn near ain't even wore yet.
man, what size you wear? Wear size 9, bro. Call me. We can work something out.
You know what I'm saying?
So you just copping them and putting them away?
I mean, he rocking them. Like, he got so many shoes that he's still coming strong every day. You're not going to catch him lacking. But he's pulling out stuff that people been rocking that he done kept on ice. So he's just so far ahead of cats. You know what I'm saying?
For a clean.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So he running laps. But it's just people, it's just different levels. You know, people love what they love. You know what I'm saying?
And what you love, man? What's your favorite shoe?
My favorite shoe?
You can give me a top 3 if it's so hard to choose one, but
yeah. Well, you know, the top shoe that comes to my mind, so like, all right, there's this term and going back to opinions. You know, a Grail is a shoe that like you want, that like you want bad as hell, that you may never get, or you know, if you had that million, you'll grab it. And everybody Grail list is different, and people be so opinionated. Like some people might have some weak shoes on their Grail list, and people be like, "I'm a Grail, blah blah," but nobody gonna say these weak. And you know, shout out to Kobe, but the Kobe Grinches. You know, I don't know if you know y'all familiar with them low top, all green Kobe Grinches is like, and I'm a fan of them bright colors and whatnot. But like, I remember seeing that shoe and just being like this shit is art.
My problem with the Kobe's is everybody, including I ain't gonna say I was asleep because I'm not even a fan of the shoe. I ain't gonna say I love Kobe, but I'm not a fan of the shoes. But everybody slept on Kobe shoes or disliked Kobe shoes until rest in peace. Kobe, you know what I'm saying, went down. And
and that's whack too. Like that's whack too.
They don't let you till you dead or gone, man.
True.
You know,
I did like the moon boots back in the day, the space.
What, the Kobe?
Yeah, the Adidas joints.
Oh, yep. I know what you're talking about. Everybody, like Kobe really, I just posted something recently on the socials about how he just changed the free agency market with the shoes. Like, he was with Adidas, Nike, one summer he was rocking Converse. Like he really was out there do whatever I want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, when you the GOAT, you can do that, man.
Exactly.
Wow.
Rest in peace, Kobe, man.
The Grinches is worth $2,000.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't even aware of that, you know, because I haven't checked recently. But they definitely were only like, you could get them for under 1,000 prior to Kobe passing. So, you know, that's crazy. But he said until he dead and he gone, that's when they love you.
What do you think is the most slept on shoe?
This year, there was a pair of ones that dropped. Women's only, but they did extended sizes, so some of them smaller men's sizes were included. And it's the Jordan 1, based Satin Snake. It go by a couple names, but it's a black, red, and white shoe. Crazy part, and I should have brought it. I definitely thought about it, but it's such a clean shoe, and I feel like it's just really getting overlooked. Like I got something that I'm putting in the tuck. Like you won't even see me trying to sell them. Like,
and those are the retro ones, right?
Yeah. Just because of that colorway, you know.
It's a classic wave.
For sure.
Color wave.
You got some heat with you today, man? Something you want to show off, man?
I bought just
before I even do this. Do like shoe niggas be beefing? Like you got some beef out here? Like, yo, what's up, nigga? You got that heat? He's better your heat.
You know, even it's so much that remind me of the promotion game. One thing I learned about this shoe game, it taught me that every industry gonna have its
players
same,
gonna play.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna have its bullshit.
I'm gonna hate.
So it's definitely some haters out there. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you know, one thing I told myself this year, and I won't speak on haters or like names, but I reminded myself who I am, and I'm like, one thing I'm gonna do this year, I'm gonna keep it realer with anybody or everybody, even more than they keep it with me. Like even if they come, it's just I'm gonna stay. You know what I'm saying? Like you are just, but exactly, it's like, you know, I'm gonna still show you love. I'm gonna still tell people about your situation. You know
I ain't saying that now. I'm gonna still keep it G. I'm gonna still be real, but
you know, I ain't gonna amp up somebody that's like hating on me. But I ain't, like I said, I really just I try not to dish out the hate. You know what I mean? For real. So.
I got to a point now, like if you hating, I ain't even mad. Like it used to bother me. We had some situations back in the day. Where, like man, these niggas is hating every day, man. This shit making me mad. For now it's like, man, even back then, they turned so many chicks to us, our way, but to me personally, just off hating, you know what I'm saying? So
they want to see what's going on. Why they hate these niggas so much? Let me go check.
That's fans, man. You have good fans, bad fans, man. You know, fans that like you, fans that don't.
You know, even with me, like,
you still watching.
And I'm just learning. This is just me growing in business and as a person. Like, I'm becoming so much more busier. So, like, one of the things I laugh are like, you know. To some people, it creates such a bougie roar. Like, oh, I ain't messing with him. Why you think it's like I'm really moving out here? Like I'm really busy making like plays. So I'm rocking with you, but it's like you can't expect me to be in a meeting and answer your call. You calling 5 times. Like I'll send you a picture later or something like. Right. And it ain't I want to get you to shoot.
That's my brother. And I can't even get lunch with him. I'll call the nigga on his birthday. Say, hey, bro, pick any spot you want to go to. Dinner on me.
And you know, I never.
Hey, that's on him. I keep my money in my pocket. Man. Hey, shit, man.
I'm like, damn, HypHy, we could have picked. We went wherever,
right? Nigga could pick somewhere in Chicago, nigga.
You know what I'm saying? For sure, you definitely real.
See some of that heat, man.
For sure.
Should I get a fire extinguisher, man? You got a fire extinguisher here, man?
Let's see what you.
So I mean, I brought these. You know, you going back to the shoe of the year. People gonna go Dior because. What it is, the price tag, like, you know, these is one of them to me, like, as a, like, lover of the game.
These might be shoe of the year to me.
For real, as a lover
to me,
of the
my
game,
personal opinion.
We're gonna go with the Ben and Jerry Dunks, like, it's just so much about the shoe, like, the collab itself, like, Ben and Jerry's.
Details, man, it's crazy.
Ice cream look like the Ben and Jerry's.
It's real cow right here.
You know, look, we got
heard,
the cow.
I heard.
We gotta have Peter jumping out. But, you know, the cow, the colors, the paint, like, it's shoes like this that remind me, like, this real art, you know what I'm saying? Like, details and you know, people pay attention to all the little details and whatnot. So it's definitely a shoe, you know, some art, you know.
What these going for, man? If somebody wanted to cop these from the
So look,
like for sale, like
you know.
You gotta brush this shit?
Run up, you know. I got them more so going back to like stocks. It's like I'm comfortable knowing they're gonna go up in price. They're dope shoes, like dope collab. But you know, I'm probably my price tag on them at this exact moment $1,900. But people might look at that like, oh, these tags are high. One, that's what the market is for them, and two, I paid $1,600 for these.
So you think they're gonna go up?
Yeah, like I bought exactly. So I'm like, okay. At the time, they was $1,600. I'm like, I'll put that in. I feel like they're gonna go up. Like I said, right now I could sell them for a little extra, but I'm like, this just flavor to me. Like I keep these in my office. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I just like, you know, type it and look at like, you know what I'm saying? You know, we doing this. You know what I'm saying? But for real, man, you know, that's actually a pack. I mean, that shoe, it get crazy. Like, you know, I went to Chicago for these. Like, shout out Sear. Me and Sear.
Get one more time for Sear.
One more time for Sear. Because look, we was in the trenches in Chicago, like, really getting these shoes. And this is a pack right here. It's a Jordan pack. It's called the New Beginning pack. And it actually comes with 2 shoes. But old school for you, like real player before, you know, the Jordan 1s, like the real old schools. And then we go ahead. Look, some people in the sneaker game be like, hey, you can't touch these. Like we just still gonna keep it clean. And then you got
smell them.
A lot of people love these, the ones.
These.
Yeah, them is the real hitters. And so
these right here, man. Listen.
You know, this also one of my favorite releases of the year. You know, it's been a lot of heat.
Buy me these.
You know.
I'll take these.
Well, you know, of course you're getting a double pack with it, but even this pack, we probably at about like $2,400 right now, you know, for the pack. So it gets real, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, you know, I don't know him personally, but you know, y'all first episode dip. It's like he said, you gotta pay to play. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't rock everything that I sell as a business that we sell, because there's some things that's out of my level right now. You know, I'm humble about that. Like I'll rock them next year. I'll grow up to that. But you know what I'm saying? Like for if you want that real heat, and there's people who do and are paying, but that's when you're getting into like them tickets that's like, you know, a band plus 2 bands.
So do designer shoes come in play with this, or it's just more just the sneaker, the urban sneaker world?
Like, you know, for me, I keep it all sneakers, you know, and I keep it all sneakers, you know, but the designer stuff, you might have some cats, you know, doing their thing, trying to get in on everything, flipping designer too, but it's like, I don't know, the sneakers is the culture, you know what I'm saying? Like I found myself, you know, one time like, you know, should I buy these Balenci's or should I spend this little $800 on these sneakers? And I just felt like, you know, everybody who got a bag gonna go grab some Balenci's. Like sneakers really be hard to find, like some of this heat. So it's not about just cause I got the bread, I could get them. It's people still wanting off-white 4s from me that got $1,200 right now. But they just not floating around, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I rock with the sneaker side of it, you know, preferably.
Rather go grab you some exclusive
Exactly,
shoes.
I'd rather grab some heat, you know what I'm saying? And, hey, don't get me wrong, Balenci's all that's icy, Gucci. It look icy, I rock with it. But you're gonna catch me in the Travis Scott, the Off-White, you know what I'm saying? Something crazy, you know.
Well, everybody that we bring to the table, episode number 4, so you the 4th one. Shout out to Rereading. The real reason why we here, you know, shine light on what you're doing, but we really want to know, us and the people out there, like, what's your motivation to hustle?
For sure, yeah. You know, it's really, for me, it's always been about just inspiring. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I would, you know, just say kids in general, but everybody. I don't care if you're older, younger, the same age. Like
kids are our future, man.
Exactly. And for me, these kids are like, I wanted to make something like, you know, when we grew up, you know, we all really solid. And when we grew up, you know, we were still in that generation of, you know, the rapper lifestyle looked dope, the athlete lifestyle looked dope. And like, from the hood, it's like, you know, rap or ball, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to like set on a path to like show the kids like, you could be a doctor and still rock you a chain, still, you know what I'm saying, pull up the Benzo, you know what I'm saying? So like, I went, you know, the shoe and entrepreneur route is really just to provide that inspiration. Like, you know, I definitely feel like I was put here for a reason, but it's one of them things, like, if I could do it, you could do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the real motivation. Like, everybody else, as crazy as that sound.
For sure. That's dope, man. That's dope. I like what you doing, bro. Like, for real. You always been an inspiration for me.
Appreciate it.
Since high school.
In the streets.
Appreciate it.
For sure. Your pops raised like a good
the real
one.
Ones know, man. Yeah. The real ones know, man.
There you have it right there, episode 4.
You know.
It's your boy HypHy.
Your boy Fresh.
Let's get it. Soleroom Reez, the Soleroom, rock with me.
Tell them where to find you on IG real quick, your social media. What can they?
The Soleroom LLC on IG, on everything really. Like, you could find me personally at Soleroom Reez. The same. You type in Soleroom Reez, the Soleroom gonna come up. You type in Soleroom Reez, somewhere in there. So.
Remember to get that Twitter name, Retro Reez?
Yes sir. Yes sir. Retro. People still call me Retro. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah.
So.
There you have it, episode 4, Motivation to Hustle.
4.